Welcome back. Richard and Barbie are here to talk about their new book, The Right Combination, Finding Love and Life After Divorce. So thank you two so much for being here today.
Yes,
Thanks so much for having us.
We really appreciate y'all stopping by. So I understand y'all just launched the book, but before we get into that, let's talk a little bit about you guys. Tell me about what y'all do.
Yeah. So she's a life coach, and we both are authors and speakers and writers. So that's what we do. Is kind of in a relationship coach is what I work with a lot of people on as well. So, so that's what we do. And
our story is that we went about our dating life, and we dated for 4 years. I was a single mom for 3 years. I have 3 boys, so my house was a little more rambunctious than his.
Yeah, absolutely. I was a single dad for 8 years before we started dating and everything. And so I always say, my life looked a little different. I was, with my daughter, and then it looked a little different than a house full of 3 boys. That's for sure.
Yeah. So what'd you guys learn? Let's say in the 4 years y'all were dating.
Well, first off, no one signs up for a 4-year plan like that.
Right.
So, but over that 4 years, he kept telling me, just enjoy the process. And so that's really what I learned was I think we kind of rush through life. We're in an instant gratification society. And so just learning to just slow down and really get to know each other. And,
Yeah, I always say I come in like a whirlwind. I was like, I've never been accused of having an indoor voice. I think I was kind of a shock to their system. But, that's one thing. I was very protective of my daughter at the time, just me focusing on her and finding my new normal, I'd say. But as time went on and I got to realize this relationship's really going somewhere, so I wanted to go in, I wanted to take my time and I wanted to go into the relationship, knowing that I could love her boys probably as much as I loved her as well.
I feel like that's kind of hard because you are so protective of your own kids, as you were saying.
Yes,
absolutely. Yeah, that was the hard part, and he did such a great job in leading out, because I probably would have rushed into it a little bit, and taking that time to get to know the kids was really important.
So of course the holiday season, a big family time, there's a lot of pressure there. So what I understand from your book, you talk a little bit about kind of what y'all learn this time of year.
Yes. Well, as for me, I think I go look back to when I was divorced, right? And during that time of being a single parent, I was really, really argue over the things that I thought was best for our daughter. I think this is best for her, And what I realized, I had one day just took a step back and said, all right, wait a minute. Who am I really doing this for? I know I'm saying it's for my daughter, but once I really started looking at it, I go, it's really about me. And so so what I did is I carried that over into our marriage during this time of year and said, okay, as we're going through these things, you want things to happen this way, a certain way, and all these things. You start arguing it, maybe it's best but when you realize, let's do what's best for the kids. You have to take a step back and go, we're blended now. I know what I want, but let's take a step back and say, am I really doing this for me, or am I doing it for the kids? And most of the time, you do what's right for the family.
Yeah, one of the things that I really learned was about embracing new traditions, because we have the traditions we had growing up. We may have traditions we had in our past marriage, but now in this new relationship, we want to bring in some of those traditions that still fit, but also be opening to starting new traditions.
Yes.
And then next, being creative, because some of our best holidays happen the day after Christmas. Because we were blessed to be a family that had either all kids or no kids, but not everybody has that. And so just being open to when we can all be together, remembering what's important.
True, yeah. I think it really goes back to that. It's just focusing on what's going to be new for you. Let's focus on the traditions. And really when we start trying to meddle and do things in our own way, what happens is things kind of fall out for the best anyway.
That was for me. I'm a recovering people pleaser, and so trying to maneuver through all the X's and extras and expectations. We all have expectations of what we expect, but just really stepping back and also looking for the kids' perspective. They have a lot of people pulling on them. His daughter had her mom, and then her ex-stepdad's family, and then us, and now in the past year they're all getting married. We had in 12 months 3 weddings and so now I was like, oh, now we have all the in-laws and all of that to deal with, and I just really felt like God was telling me, stop meddling, stop controlling, stop trying to figure it out. And last Christmas evening, all of our kids showed up, and there was 14 of us now when we're all together, and just to see, we started new traditions, and just to see what happens when we got ourselves out of the way.
Yes.
That's great. Richard and Barbie, thank you all so much for stopping by. Real quick before we have to go, where can people purchase your book?
They can get it at Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and they can find us at rightcombination.net.
Yeah, that's correct.
All right, thank you all so much for stopping by.
Thank you so much.
It's our pleasure.